Hey everyone, I'm Zach. On this episode, we're going to be reviewing the Stark Drive mini electric bike. Next. This is the Stark Drive mini electric bike, one of the most affordable electric bikes in the world. It's lightweight, packs a punch when it comes to range, and it has a neat folding design. Now, Jesse and I aren't serious cyclists, but that's okay. This bike isn't really made for climbing hills or snatching the fastest time trial run. No, the Stark Drive Mini is made for the city. For people who need to get relatively short distances, but don't have the means or desire to drive. We wanted to test what the Drive Mini could do, so we decided to bring it into the city to see if it could handle the life of a busy commuter. But first, let's talk specs. The base price is an unbelievable $299 right now on a promotional Kickstarter deal. I can't even imagine how they're able to do this. For this review, the model that we're reviewing is the Drive Mini Advanced, which is selling for $699. The range is about 40 kilometers or 25 miles. It weighs 13 kilograms or 28.6 pounds. On the one we're reviewing, it has a 36 volt, 350 watt motor, and on the lower base model, it has a 250 watt motor. There's a removable battery. The base model has a 4.4 amp hour, and you can get it all the way up to a 10.5 amp hour. And the top speed is 15 miles per hour or 25 kilometers per hour. So this 4.3 inch backlit LED bike display has a lot of information, so let's take a look. The large number displayed on the screen is your speed. This is shown in kilometers per hour. The small number is the odometer, which keeps track of the total miles traveled. So this number here shows the energy level the bike is at. This number limits the top speed. These buttons on the left handlebar adjust that top speed. That change is shown here from levels 1 through 5. Next to the screen, there is the battery life meter, which has green for full, yellow for middle, and red for empty indicators. I didn't find that useful. I wish there was more energy bars so you could kind of tell if you were at 30% or 70%, because to me, having it be yellow doesn't really tell you a whole lot. And unfortunately, right here on this screen, this energy bar is not a more accurate display of battery life. It simply shows energy efficiency, which we didn't find all that useful. So basically, if you're drawing full power like going up a hill, that meter goes down, I guess to show you that you're using a lot of energy, which you kind of already knew. Now that we know a little bit about the bike, we're going to put it through a few tests to see how it fares in the life of a commuter. So let's go to it, Jesse. First test, we're going to use the Drive Mini to see what kind of range we can get from it and how it does in simple trips like going to the grocery store or riding from your apartment to work. The small form factor of the bike made it really easy to travel through tight spaces like this shopping center, and we weren't in the way of the people. Build quality. It's a nice, sturdy feeling bike, except for a couple things. One is that there's no lock, so when you fold the bike together to travel with it, there's no way to keep it together. You can't really walk with the bike in this folded position, and it makes for kind of an awkward experience. Now, there is a bag that you can put the bike into as an additional accessory, but it seems like that would be a pretty heavy thing to sling over your shoulder. As great as the folding design is, the kickstand seems to be on the wrong side, making the actual folding sort of hard without someone to help. The brakes are good. The bike feels solid, but it doesn't feel premium. You're getting what you paid for. Comfort. There's no suspension, so just keep that in mind. The tall handlebars is nothing that you can't get used to, but it definitely has a different feel than a typical bike. The headlight. Fairly bright, has a good range, really does its job at night, and the brake light works really well. It handles pretty much like a regular bike. It is a different form factor than your typical bike, so it takes a little time to get used to that. And I want to mention here that our handlebars, the alignment was off by about 5 degrees. I don't know if that's something you can adjust. It didn't seem to be, and it may just have been our particular bike, but that took a little bit of getting used to. Battery. What I like is that you can take the battery out and bring it with you if you're going to work and you want to charge up there, or bring it home with you so that you can leave the bike down, in the front lobby and just carry the battery with you. So, the range here is about 25 miles, and I can't imagine that you would need more than that, especially since it's a bike. You can still pedal it and use it as a bike and increase your range. Hills. This is where an electric bike shines, right? Because if you have hills on your commute, you know that you get hot and sweaty and tired getting to work. So we tried it on hills, and we used the pedal assist feature, which uses the motor to make travel far easier. But if you want, you can even, on a smaller hill, just turn on the throttle and let it do all the work. Transportation. We think a great use for this bike would be bringing it onto public transport or putting it in your car. This bike may not be large or dynamic enough to take on long trips, but it can fit on a train, and it can fill in the gaps where driving or walking would be irritating. The folding wasn't as small as we thought, and the public transportation where we live didn't lend itself to the bike. Nowhere really to put the bike under the seats or next to us, and it made it kind of difficult. But putting it into your car, definitely a benefit, because we all know how hard it is to put a regular sized bike into a regular sized car. Charging port. So there's a charging port on the handlebar, and it's a really nice idea. It's supposed to let you charge up your phone while you're riding your bike. But it kind of needs a third-party phone holder, in our opinion, to be useful. Attaching that to the handlebars and plugging in your phone there. Screen. So let's talk about the screen here. It's a really cool idea, but I don't think there's much on the screen that you really need. It tells you your speed, but for most bike riders, we don't need to look down constantly and see what our speed is. What we really need to know are things like battery life. And for that, we've just got this indicator over here, like we mentioned, with the red, yellow, and green. And that doesn't tell you really what you want to know. You want a number. You want to know, am I at 79% or am I at 22%? Just seeing yellow doesn't really let you know if you're going to have enough range to get home. We would have preferred if there was a phone integration, or at least a way to see your range in a more detailed battery indicator. We wish in the future that maybe there could be a way to get finer settings with an app that would talk to the motor on your bike so that you could connect with the bike and really get into some finer settings for the motor and the power and the battery. Throttle, pedal assist. Cool thing about this bike is it has both a throttle on the handlebar and pedal assist, which means that as you start to pedal, the motor intelligently goes, oh, you want some power? And it starts to help you so that you kind of feel like a superhero. You're just pedaling along and you get this extra boost. And then if you want to control it with the handlebar, you can just turn the throttle and you've got power there too. So really nice that you can get both these features in such an inexpensive bike. The 15-mile-an-hour top speed was not that impressive. We were hoping for a faster top speed because let's face it, if you're using this as a commuter bike, you probably want to be going somewhere closer to 20-25 miles an hour. This bike is amazingly priced. I can't imagine that you're buying just a bike for $300, let alone getting an electric bike for this price. Stark, their whole point is that they've been trying to find a way to bring e-bikes to the masses. So they found a way to basically design a bike with off-the-shelf parts. They didn't redesign anything from scratch. They used stuff that was already being made and got it out to the people. So the bike you're going to get, it's not like designed to be the best, lightest bike ever. It's designed to get you into a bike at an affordable price point. And for that, I think they really knocked it out of the park. Thank you so much for watching this episode about the Stark Drive Mini Electric Bike. We hope that you found it useful. If you'd like, please leave us comments down below. And don't forget, please subscribe and like this video. It really helps us out a lot.